I am talking about e-ink displays. This is who I am. I am an employee from a senior data engineer from DIK W Intelligence, a really hard name to say in English. It stands for Data Information Knowledge Wisdom. I think the founders really thought it was a good idea at the time. I've been working with Python since 2017 when I made the shift to data engineering. And I use Python for work, but I also use it for hobby. Like I've been creating a solution to automatically land rocket stages in the game Kerbal Space Program. If you know that game, hands up. Yes? Okay, very cool. It's still somewhere on YouTube. It's from years ago. Today I want to talk about e-ink displays. So I learned about this a couple of years ago. I was browsing on Hacker News by Y Combinator. It has a lot of cool tech news. And suddenly I found a message saying the e-ink displays from Pimoroni are in stock again. So I'm thinking, what are e-ink displays and why is this so interesting to people? And then I was following some links and I saw this video from Core Electronics, and this guy was telling, hey, these e-ink displays, you can just put a Raspberry Pi on them and you can program them with Python and you can do all kinds of stuff with that. So I'm thinking, that sounds cool, I want one. So I bought one. Well, I tried to buy one and it was out of stock. And then I asked Pimoroni to send a mail when they were in stock again. And that's a couple of months later, said they were in stock, and I was a little bit too slow, and then they were out of stock again. And then I tried another time, and then I got my first e-ink display. And when you look at the specs of these things, they're actually kind of laughable. If you look at there are 7 colors, or black and white. You can also have them in black and white. And they're like 640 by 400 pixels, and they're not computer displays, they're e-ink displays. So it really sounds a little bit silly. It sounds like I'm going back to my early computer days when I had a computer from my father. We actually had a CGA and a Hercules card, if you don't remember those ones. So, and also the refresh rate is like multiple seconds. When you program them with Python and you ask them to refresh, you really see it flashing. And then the result comes. So you're thinking, why is this good for anything? But it's actually really cool. If you look at the images, so yes, there are 7 colors, but the images it creates, for example, if you show comics on them or just text, they actually look pretty nice. They don't use energy. If you get the power cable, unplug the power cable, they don't use any energy at all. They just stay there like that. Here's one of mine. It's just not doing anything right now. It's no power. It runs on a Raspberry Pi. So what can you do with them? Well, so you have to think about the use case. If you want to have some data to show and you don't need up to millisecond updates, or if a couple of minutes refresh is fine with you, they can be used quite nicely. If you don't need the highest photo quality, you can do some interesting stuff with it. So I thought I can create some kind of dashboard with them. So if you look, by the way, just to show that I'm not paid by the Pimoroni company, there are actually 2 companies I found that sell them. There's one in America, Waveshare, and there's Pimoroni in the UK. I think for everyone like me who is in the European Union, you have to pay duties when you buy them, unfortunately. But apart from that, yeah, they're pretty okay. And no soldering necessary. You just can click your Raspberry Pi with your GPIO port on the thing, and you can put a power cable in it, and a keyboard and a mouse, and and a display, a real computer display, of course, and you're off to the races. So how does this work? Well, the Inky for the Pimoroni, the Inky package in Python, it needs an image. So you need to prepare an image. So if you have some text, I use Pillow so I have some data, for example. I create a piece of text, I put it on an image, and then the image I give to the Inky package, and do a set image and a show. When you do that, they need to have the resolution exactly of the resolution of your display. If you're only 1 pixel off, it says, oh, I can't do it. So you need to think about that. But that's all solvable, I think. So, yeah, I have all kinds of GitHub repositories in the slides that you can have a look if you want to try and see how I did it. But very shorthand code. I would recommend using the inky.auto if you use this, because then it automatically recognizes what kind of display you have, because they have different sizes, and it's really annoying if you have to hard code that in the Python code. And Pimoroni had some examples where they did that, but this is actually much nicer. You have an image, and you then set image and then show, and then it starts flashing. So the possibilities are endless, but when I look online, actually the solutions fall into 3 categories: photo frame, calendar, and weather station. And I'm thinking, okay, surely there must be more possible than this. I want to do something special with this. By the way, okay, to be honest, recently I found not all weather stations are created equal, because someone created this one with a wave share e-ink display that's actually very beautiful. What this person created is something like a drawing, but it shows the weather for the next 12 hours. So you can see when the clouds appear in 5 hours, or the sun shining at 6 hours or something. I believe his newest version even shows the smoke from the chimney going sideways, showing there's a little bit of wind. So I love that. That is what you can do with Python. Now we're talking about using your imagination. So I was thinking, yeah, let's think what can I do with this? Because actually, of course, as these things go, I first bought the display and then thought what I wanted to do with it. That's how these home projects go sometimes. So the first thing I wanted to do, I wanted to create a cycling dashboard. I'm I'm a cycling fanatic. So I'm thinking it would be really cool if I have something on my desk that shows on the e-ink display how many kilometers I've done, and that it would update that. So that sounds like a nice idea. But first of all, of course, I need the data. Now, fortunately, I use a cycling app. It's called Strava, and they have an API. So I've been looking into that. They also have documentation. It's on developers.strava.com. But then, even then, I was thinking, okay, but this still could be hard because they need some kind of authentication, and they're going to use the OAuth2 authentication. I'm not very good at that because I tried it a couple of years back and I failed. But luckily, I found a blog post by an Italian guy, Graziano Fuccio, and he worked it all out. I just could copy his code. So then, I said, thank you very much. I reached out to him because I want to thank him for that. And after a while, would you know it, I had my first data on my e-ink display. Now, this is still looking very ugly, but it was nice to have it working, because once you have it working, now you can improve and iterate and that kind of stuff. So what I've done after that, I was also very heavily working with Stable Diffusion back then, creating all kinds of cycling images. So I created cycling images. This is my Christmas-themed version. So you have a bicycle in the snow, something I would never do. I would never go with my racing bike in the snow, but it's for the Christmas theme, it was very nice. I also needed some kind of frame to set it up on my desk. My father has created this wooden frame, so it was all set and still on my desk today, and I'm still looking with pride on that they created this and that it's still working. And you can find the code on here. And the cherry on top was I submitted it to a cycling YouTube channel, Global Cycling Network, and they put it. They had something called a hack versus botch competition. Hack, for you who don't know this, hack is positive, botch is negative. Usually they have this for, I'm Dutch, so what I know, hack sounds also negative sometimes, okay? But they usually have this for people who repaired their bike in some kind of shoddy way. But I submitted this, and 90% of these participants said it was a hack. So, and also, very fun, these two guys are former professional cyclist, and they commented on that I'd done really lot of cycling, so that was... I felt very good about that. So the second project is a wall calendar. I know, I said it's one of those 3 categories that are boring, I know, but it was actually solving a problem for me because I have a customer where I work for, but I also have the company DIKW where I work for in the evening sometimes, and they have appointments, and then when I come back home from the office at the customer, I forget that there's something in the evening that I was supposed to attend online, and I'm thinking, okay, I need some kind of calendar that just shows me my next appointments that I have to attend to outside of office hours. For this, I used the Google Calendar API, and actually nowadays Google has a lot of interesting stuff, example data. It was really easy to buy this, so I had this working quite well. But unfortunately for this solution, I had to repurpose the e-ink display very quickly for another thing, because another opportunity came on, and that was a donation tracker. What's this about? Well, like I said, I'm a cyclist, and I've been on a sponsored event called Tour for Life. It's to get sponsor money for cancer research, and for this you need to get a certain amount of sponsor money before you can join the ride. And it's a ride from Italy to the Netherlands in 8 days, and it's really cool, really heartwarming, great group with volunteers. But we needed to get the money, and my colleague Anil here helped me with that. He's also from DKW, and we're thinking, how can we get this sponsor money? And then Anil said, well, maybe you can put your bike on a trainer, and then we're going, me and another colleague, we're going to collect money. So we're going to talk to the audience, to the people, passers-by. So that's what we did. So now there are 2 ways you can donate. We have a piggy bank in the form of a hat, because the fund that we're getting money for is called the Daniel den Hoed Kliniek, and Hoed is hat in English. So they have a piggyback hat with where you can put your physical money in. But of course we also have a QR code, because most people don't have loose change anymore. So we had that, and we found out that a lot of people were donating that way, but there were also people that saying, okay, let me scan that code, and then they're doing something, and they said, did it work? And I said, yeah. And well, later we found out no money was coming in. So Anil said, can't you create a live display or something where we can see the money updating? Because then we can say, oh, you donated, great, let's look at the display, because we have a thing that we can update. So we did that. Anil said, can you create that? And I was thinking, okay. Yeah, we have a donation page. There's an amount of money. I can scrape that, right? I think I can do that. I was looking at the page, and then I learned that there's a thing called dynamic SQL. Force of habit. Dynamic HTML. And when you get the HTML from the page, there's not the donation amount is not in there, because it's doing some kind of JavaScript magic, and I'm not getting the number from there. So I was thinking, how does that work? And then I learned there is a thing in Python that's called the request HTML package. And what it does is you tell it to go to the page, and it in the background starts a Chromium browser, and then you can actually see the number, or it can see the number, and then you can pick it. So I was trying that out, writing that on my MacBook, and indeed, success. It was working. Until I ported it to the Raspberry Pi, because that's what I use. I don't have my MacBook next to my bike. I have a Raspberry Pi behind this thing. And it turned out I ran into all kinds of errors, some kind of Chromium error. What was happening here? Well, turns out that Chromium browser, the request HTML thing is running. It's running the Puppeteer package, and the Puppeteer package starts Chromium browser, but it's a Chromium browser that works on Intel. Raspberry Pis don't have an Intel processor, they have an ARM processor, so that wasn't working, and it was running into error because it needed some kind of codec And the only way to get it running, I found out, was to downgrade my Chromium browser on the Raspberry Pi back to 2018, because Google hadn't updated the codec since 2018. So I was thinking, surely that is not necessary. But it was. So I was downgrading my Chromium browser. Now, to be honest, I demoed this presentation at my company, and one of my colleagues said, oh, there's actually another way. You might have done it. You can also go to the page with the donation amount and go to the DevTools, and there's maybe a GraphQL query. So next time I'm going to try that. As soon as our new donation page is back up again, because I will be writing Tour for Life next year again, then I will try that. Yeah, after downgrading my browser, for sure, there we had it, and it was working. And now I even have this wonderful 3D printed frame, because the son of a colleague of ours is very into 3D printing. So thanks, Luc, for the 3D printed frame. So now, of course, I needed to use this in the wild, and of course I still needed two more things, and that was power and Wi-Fi, because I'm on the street somewhere. So power is actually not that hard, because nowadays for camping I always bring my power banks, so USB-C, no problem. And the Wi-Fi, well, all these phones nowadays have hotspots, and the Raspberry Pi can connect to that. And so before you know it, here I am field testing this. And it's actually working. Of course, you need to think when you do this that you actually activate the hotspot, because I've been telling people who just donated, yes, and now look at the display. Any minute now. Any minute now. So that's not so great. So turn on your hotspot, and then it's actually working. And yeah, it's really fun when we hear people, oh, and it's updating the picture. Yes, that's what I did, because I have a random image picker that picks a different image on the background every time it changes the amount. So that's really cool. So one more project I've been working with, because I was thinking 3 projects is a little bit slim for a presentation for PyCon. I was thinking, oh, I'm also very into astronomy. Would be great to have a star map. That's something you can also do on an e-ink display. So I've been doing that. I was thinking, would be great to have something on the wall that shows this is what the night sky looks like tonight. So I was thinking, okay, there must be some kind of way to have, surely there's some kind of package, Python package that can create star maps. Turns out when you look for Python star map, a star map is actually a type of data visualization. So I was finding the whole wrong results for a while, but after a little bit more intelligent Googling, I indeed found it, or Dr. Going in my case. There's a package, a wonderful package called starplot.dev. And you can import that, and it really creates wonderful star maps. The thing is, I was running this on my Raspberry Pi Zero too, and as soon as I started to pip install or Poetry add this package, it was starting to hang. And I found out that the load went sky high every time I tried to install one of the packages, the CartaPy package. It turns out it had something to do with swapping. So after I found that out after a week, I increased the swap spice of the Raspberry Pi Zero, and then it installed wonderfully, no problems again. And before you know it, I was able to create it. So that looked like this. And you can make all kinds of things with this starplot.dev package. You can create night sky charts with the whole sky. You can have nebulas in there or out there, planets in there. You can customize it completely. It's a wonderful package. You can zoom in if you want to have just the map of the constellation of Orion. No problem. Milky Way in there, no Milky Way in there. It's all up to you. You can even create visualizations of what it would look like if you would look at something of part of the sky through a telescope. So amazing. And okay, I just proved, okay, for me this is working, but I think I can do more stuff with this. It would be really great if I have some kind of thing where I could choose what part of the sky I'm looking at. And I was thinking, well, this is not developed yet, but all these e-ink displays come with, well, most of them come with these buttons here. So they have 4 buttons. Well, north, west, east, and south. Sounds like something I can solve like that. So that's something for the future release, I guess. Yeah, so that's all kind of stuff you can do with e-ink displays. I can imagine a lot more. For example, maybe if you come into the office, you recognize this. There's a room, and everybody's wondering, is this booked for the next hour? And then just decide, shall we wait or shall we get in? It would be great if you have some kind of e-ink displays that show this room for the next hour is booked by, or it's not booked. Okay, let's get in, guys, or book it ourselves. That would be cool. Maybe some kind of e-ink display that shows for me when I wake up, are the trains going? How big is the commute time for me? How much big is the traffic? I was also recently thinking. Also, something that would be really nice is if I could see on my display who is connected to my network. So if I have some surprise devices in my network, I can just look on the display. Oh, I didn't know that was there. I have to look into that. Why is this device suddenly in my network? That would also be an interesting thing. I can imagine in the future. I mean, these things are still not very big. I hope they get bigger. What I want in my room is a poster-sized A0 format e-ink display that I can use an app and show, or have a wonderful new image every hour or something, changing every day. And maybe I'm just spitballing here. Maybe in the future our rooms are decorated with e-ink displays, and you just say in the app, today I will go for the Rococo. Yes, let's do that in red. And maybe then your room will change on the spot in every way you want. Until that time, the only way to get larger images is what I did here. I bought 4 displays and split an image into 4, and then you can have this. Yes, that's basically all I can share about e-ink displays. So thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, I think we have time.
Hi, just for public use, how durable would you say e-ink displays would be?
Yeah, I'm not sure if in public space, if you probably need some kind of plastic thing in front of it to keep them from hands going on them or something. But at home, my e-ink display for my cycling solution is there already for 1.5 to 2 years now, and it's doing very well. Yeah, it's still showing very nice results and not degrading in any way that I know of. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I saw in your home country they're used on bus stops, the black and white version, which sounds like a really good use case where you have very little power and you only need to refresh kind of the timetable of the bus kind of once a month or something like that. But those, I mean, that answers also the problem with kind of durability outside. That works pretty well, right? But they seem to have a problem with pixels burning in, because, you know, it's for days and days, the same pixels activated. Is that a general problem? Is that kind of people improving those displays like we had in the 80s where we had screensavers? You know, you can't do screensavers on this, of course.
I think that can be a problem, but that's why these displays, when you use the Inky package, it does the refreshing that much, because it tries to refresh all the pixels before it starts showing a new image. So I think there might be some kind of issue, but there's a way around it apparently. So I haven't run into that problem myself. Yeah.
First of all, thank you for the talk. It was very interesting. And I have 2 questions. One of it is like Kindles, the booking Kindles from Amazon. They use the same technology, right?
Sorry, but
the Kindle, like the Kindle.
Oh yeah, true, yeah.
And the second question is, how much power do they use? Like for how long it will last the battery in general?
Oh, I haven't tried it on the battery. I tried that solution in the field with my donation tracker, and yeah, it can run for days on the power bank. But I have a big power bank, so yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe less of a serious question, but I wonder how many e-ink displays do you own now, after having gone through all of this?
I got 7. Yeah, one of them, by the way, is a Pimoroni frame that has a Raspberry Pi PyCo built in. But I do like have a real Raspberry Pi where PyCo is not an unreal Raspberry Pi, but I like one where I can SSH into and put Python code on there. And with the PyCo, you have to make a USB connection, and it's not my preferred way. So, I have 7. Guilty as charged.
Hello, thanks for the talk, it was great. Have you had any experience with e-ink displays that allow partially updating the screen? I found some smaller ones that allow that, but the bigger ones, they need the whole screen to refresh, which...
I haven't encountered that, but there are some people doing imaginative things with the Raspberry Pi, with the e-ink displays from Pimoroni, but they go around the package that Pimoroni provides, and they have some kind of direct way of communicating to it. Maybe then it's possible, but yeah, not via the package from Pimoroni. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's it then? All right then, thank you.
You're welcome.